We are now going to take you live to Victoria, where authorities are providing a COVID update.
And Jerome can speak to that later in terms of answering any questions. A number of exposure sites were put onto the website last night. We encourage all Victorians to continue to check that website and follow that health advice. While we never want to see new cases, it is reassuring that we're again seeing these cases with clear links to existing outbreaks. As you all know, one of the missing pieces we've been looking for in this puzzle is the origin of the smaller outbreak cases featuring the Delta variant that is known as the West Melbourne cluster. As we advised last week with assistance from the Doherty Institute, we've been checking all known positive cases against the genomic sequencing for the cases in this cluster. I can confirm today that we have now found a match between a returned traveller who entered hotel quarantine in Melbourne on the 8th of May and this cluster. While we have a genomic link, we do not currently have an epidemiological link. Further investigations are underway to see if we're able to establish any contact between the returned traveller and these families. There's currently no definitive understanding of where a transmission event may have occurred, but we are investigating all possibilities from the plane to travel to hotel, and Professor Cheng will take you through the details of the genomic sequencing and the various lines of inquiry in a moment. But I want to be clear about a couple of things. Our contact tracing team has done exactly what we needed them to do. They have found the cases, they've tracked them down, and they have isolated them. Thanks to their outstanding work, we remain on track to later in this week announce, as we've said we've planned to do all along, further easings of restriction in regional Victoria and careful easing of restrictions in Melbourne. This cluster was discovered after the lockdown was in place, and nothing about today changes our plans. So I just want to send that very reassuring message to all Victorians. Nothing about today changes our plans. Thanks to the outstanding work of our contact tracing team, we remain on track to deliver a further easing of restrictions in regional Victoria and easing of restrictions in Melbourne. We all know that hotel quarantine cannot be made risk-free. Hotels are built for tourists, not for managing infectious diseases. There have been at least 21 breaches in hotel quarantine right around this country. Just in the last month, we've seen 3 outbreaks, 1 in South Australia and 2 in WA. Despite all the protections that we put in place, appropriately put in place, vaccination of staff, daily testing of staff, PPE, N95 masks, ventilation works, just to name a few, we cannot eliminate risk in this environment. The fact that Howard Springs is the only system in the country that has seen no breaches really speaks for itself. That's why we pushed so hard to get a purpose-built quarantine facility. Howard Springs is the only facility in this country that has not seen a breach, and that's exactly why we've been pushing for this purpose-built facility. Having that purpose-built facility will ensure that high-risk individuals, whether they come from high-risk countries around the world or whether for their individual circumstances, high-risk individuals put into a purpose-built facility while lower-risk individuals are supported through our hotel quarantine system, is the best system that we can have. And that's why, the best-case scenario was that this was done a year ago. The next best scenario is that we get it done immediately. And I'm very pleased, as we've heard over the last few days, that that's received the support of the federal government. We will get this facility built, this purpose-built facility built, as quickly as possible. And in the meantime, we will do our absolute best within our hotel quarantine system to reduce risk as much as is humanly possible.